Hi, in this video let's discuss the following topics as you can see. So today's discussion, Toffee is going to join. Okay Toffee, are you ready? Okay, let's start. Starting with the first question, in case of lumbar puncture, you penetrate a needle and what is the order in which we face different tissues or the needle faces different tissues. So just observe this image, we'll review through the literature. The lumbar puncture needle pierces in the following order, starting with skin, subcutaneous tissue, supraspinous ligament, interspinous ligament, ligamentum flavum, epidural space containing internal vertebral venous plexus, the dura, arachnoid, and finally subarachnoid space. Right? Now let's move on to the next question. Heat activated resins, some boiling temperature and porosity. So review the following literature given in Phillips. So as you can see, we have various types of porosities, different types and degrees of porosities, and also the presence of surface and subsurface voids can compromise the physical, aesthetic and hygienic properties of a processed denture base. It has been noted that porosity is likely to develop in the thicker portions of a denture base. Such porosity results from vaporization of unreacted monomer and low molecular weight polymers when the temperature of a resin reaches or surpasses the boiling points of these species. Right? So just keep this information in mind and let me know what the question is in specific. We'll update that accordingly in the description part of the video. Now moving on to the next question, most acceptable theory for gypsum setting. As you know, there are several theories, and if you review literature given in Phillips, there are three theories of gypsum setting. The colloidal theory, which proposes that when mixed with water, hemihydrate enters into a colloid state through sol-gel mechanism. So in the sol state, hemihydrate particles are hydrated to form dihydrate, thereby entering into an active state. So as the measured amount of water is consumed, the mass converts to a solid gel. In case of hydration theory, it suggests that rehydrated plaster particles unite through hydrogen bonding with sulfate groups to form a set material. The most widely accepted mechanism is dissolution precipitation theory, which is based on dissolution of hemihydrate particles in water followed by instant recrystallization to dihydrate. And this reaction has become possible because the solubility of hemihydrate in water is 4 times greater than that of dihydrate near room temperature, which we discussed in one of the revision classes just before the exam. Right? Now let's move on to the next question, choking effect of fluoride. In case of sodium fluoride, you can find this phenomena. So when sodium fluoride is applied topically, it reacts with hydroxyapatite crystals to form calcium fluoride, which is the dominant product of reaction. This is because the concentration of fluoride in sodium fluoride is high, due to which the solubility product of calcium fluoride exceeds faster, and this initial rapid reaction is followed by drastic reduction in its rate, and the phenomena is called choking off. So as you can see, calcium fluoride, a thick layer is formed, and this thick layer interferes with further diffusion of fluoride from sodium fluoride solution to react with hydroxyapatite and blocks further entry of fluoride ions. And also this calcium fluoride acts as a reservoir for fluoride release. Right? So this choking off phenomena is associated with sodium fluoride for the following reason. Now let's move on to the next question, supplemental anesthesia for root canal treatment. As you know, we have infiltration anesthesia for maxillary teeth, block anesthesia like IANB block in case of mandibular teeth. So to supplement this, we have the following techniques: intrapulpal anesthesia, PDL injection, and intraosseous injection as mentioned in Grossman. Right? Now let's move on to the next question, gypsum products boiling. So these are the keywords which I got, and this is the following information I found relevant to these keywords. So if you review literature given in Phillips, this boiling water or increase in temperature affects the setting time. So one of the factors in controlling setting time, usually an increase in water temperature leads to an acceleration of chemical setting reaction, and this reaction is more complex for gypsum products. Little change in setting time occurs between 0 degrees and 50 degrees centigrade. If the temperature of plaster water mixture exceeds 50 degrees, a gradual retardation occurs, and as the temperature approaches 100 degrees of boiling, no reaction takes place. And this is the reason why very hot water, which is near to boiling temperature, is used to wash impurities like calcium chloride and sodium succinate from improved stone powder. So that is a clinically relevant point, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Asthmatic attack, what are the drugs which are advised, right? So there are several drugs, and we have the list of drugs mentioned in Tripathi or any pharmacology textbook, and this is some information pertaining to the same. So adrenergic drugs, especially beta-2 stimulants, these are the primary drugs for relief of reversible airway obstruction. So in specific, short-acting inhaled beta-2 agonists are used. And remember, sodium chromoglycate or cromolyn sodium, it is not a bronchodilator and doesn't antagonize constrictor action of histamine, leukotrienes, etc. Therefore, it is ineffective if given during an asthmatic attack. So as I mentioned, short-acting inhaled beta-2 agonists like salbutamol, salmeterol are used. Among these, salbutamol is comparatively better based on the information which is given. So these beta-2 agonists, that fastest acting bronchodilators when inhaled. Okay, and when you look into salmeterol in specific, it is a first long-acting selective beta-2 agonist with slower onset of action. So obviously we can rule out salmeterol. So salbutamol, terbutaline are used in asthma, right? Especially whenever there is an asthmatic attack. Because as we discussed, adrenergic drugs, especially beta-2 stimulants, are the primary drugs for relief of reversible airway obstruction, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Socket shield technique. So as the name itself indicates, we're trying to shield the socket for the following reasons. Socket shield technique is a method in which a partial root fragment is retained around an immediately placed implant with the aim of avoiding tissue alterations after tooth extraction. Also, if you are interested to find out more information, I'll share the link in the description part of the video where we have an article describing this technique in detail. So the extraction of tooth leads to a cascade of events which results in resorption of alveolar bone around the socket. The buccal bone loss that occurs post extraction leads to vertical and horizontal bone loss. So it requires complex hard and soft tissue reconstruction to achieve aesthetically pleasing results in such cases. So in the socket shield technique, that is SST, the root is bisected and the buccal two-thirds of root is preserved in the socket so that the periodontium along with the bundle bone and buccal bone remains intact. So this technique is also called as partial extraction therapy, root membrane technique, or partial root retention, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Pickling solutions, or different pickling solutions. We refer or review literature in Phillips. We have hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, etc. So one of the best pickling solutions for gypsum bonded investments is 50% hydrochloric acid solution. A solution of sulfuric acid can also be used for pickling purpose. So often the surface of casting appears dark because of oxides and tarnish. Such a surface film can be removed by a process known as pickling, which consists of heating the discolored casting in acid. It can be either HCl, sulfuric acid, as we discussed now. Moving on to the final question, the topic in this video, laser welding depth of penetration. It's 2.5 mm. So if you review literature given in Phillips, commercial laser welding units consist of small type of glow box that contains the laser tip, an argon gas source, and a stereo microscope with lens crosshairs for precise alignment of laser beam with the commercially pure titanium components. The maximum penetration depth of these laser welding units is 2.5 mm. Since only a small amount of heat is generated, the parts can be handled during the welding procedure, and the welding can be performed close to ceramic or polymeric veneers without causing damage to these materials. This procedure can be used for cobalt chromium and nickel chromium alloys, right? So these are some of the topics which I wanted to highlight in this video. If you have any additional topics, do post them in the comment section. We'll review them and we'll make subsequent videos accordingly. I hope it's clear. Wish you all the best. Love you all.